In the 2024-2025 NFL season, my two-team Moneyline Parlay bets went 18-4 for an 81.8% win rate. That's right. This is not a joke. This is not a scam. This is just an amazing event that happened last season. I'm hoping we'll get the same results this year in 2025. Now, I know some people are probably saying, what about the juice? What about the odds that you played here? Well, if this was minus 110 odds, then these Moneyline Parlay bets would have had an ROI, or return on investment, of 74.4%, and what I got in my bets was just over 70%. Most of the odds I got on these bets were about minus 120, minus 125, and on a couple of them I actually got positive odds, so I doubled my money on those bets. And I know other people do Moneyline Parlay bets, but I haven't seen on any videos on YouTube the exact method that I use here, and I'm going to reveal that method right now. Now, some people might be saying, why would you reveal this? Why not just hammer this all day long and not even give this out? I'll answer those questions at the end of the video. The first thing we need to know is this trend, the win rate of big home favorites. In fact, home teams favored by 6.5 to 7 points win at a rate of 76.9%. My data goes all the way back to 2015, so this is 10 years of NFL data, just over 2,600 games. As I always say, if the trends make sense, you can rationalize why they work, then you have a strong trend that you can follow and bet on. In fact, check out this one right here. Home teams favored by a touchdown win at a very high rate. That should be expected. That's not a surprise. This is a very valid trend that has tons of data to support it. So instead of calling this a trend, let's just call this a fact. This is a fact backed up by data. How much data? Well, over 10 years, we had 182 games that fit this trend, and 140 of those home favorites won the game. So this is a very strong trend. The second trend has to do with road favorites. Road teams favored by 5.5 to 6 points win at a rate of 75.6%. This is another very strong trend, which I'm going to call a fact again. Over the last 10 years, we've had 82 of these games, and 62 of these teams won the game. Another very strong trend. So how do we put these facts together and make Moneyline Parlay bets? I'm going to show you the strategy with an example for the first week of 2025. This is a Moneyline Parlay bet for week 1 that I'm lining up here. I might not take this bet. If these lines change, or if I get odds that don't give me an edge, I might not take this bet. But here's a good example of this. And the funny thing here is all 4 of these teams are in NFC East. So these are divisional games here. So look at these Moneyline odds here. The Eagles are favored by 7 points, and they were minus 305 on the Moneyline on one of the sports books I'm looking at. And the Commanders are favored by 6.5 points over the Giants, and they're minus 285. Both of these teams are at home, and both of them are favored by 6.5 to 7 points. If you put these two odds together, you get parlay odds of minus 126, but my trend odds are minus 145, and those are better, so this is an edge. And this is how I've been winning money on Moneyline Parlay bets. If you just want to get these bets, you don't want to worry about how to find them, then watch my Tuesday videos every week of the NFL season. I give out these Moneyline Parlay bets each Tuesday and Saturday morning. For those of you who want to see the process, here we go. Step number 1, I want to get the Eagles win percentage from their Moneyline odds. It's a very easy process, a very simple formula, and here it is. If we look at the minus 305 here, all we got to do is take the minus 305, take the absolute value of that, and just turn it into a positive number, and divide it by that number plus 100. So 305 divided by 405, we get 75.3%. But we know from our historical data that that should actually be at 76.9%. This is where we find our edge. If we do the same thing for the Commanders, that'd be 285 divided by 385, or a 74% chance to win the game. Again, I got these odds from a sports book. So what are the odds when these two teams were put together in a Moneyline Parlay bet? All we simply do is multiply these percentages together. So convert these to a decimal number. So 0.753 and 0.740. We multiply these together to get the parlay odds, which are 0.557 or 55.7%. Now here's where we get the edge with our trend. If we take the 76.9% and multiply it by itself, because that should be the percentages for both of those teams to win their games, then the trend odds for our parlay bet should be 0.591 or 59.1%. Much higher than the 55.7% from the sports book. So our actual edge here is 59.1% minus 55.7% or 3.4%. Now that might not seem like a lot, but this gives you a positive expected value or positive EV bet. And besides, we should win these bets 59.1% of the time. The fact that I got 81.8% last year, I don't know if that was a fluke or if I just got lucky, but I'm going to keep making these bets until they stop working. Now, if you're going to follow this process and do this on your own, you definitely want to shop for the best Moneyline values. Here's a screenshot of live Moneyline odds I got today, August 17th. And one thing you need to do with the Moneyline Parlay bets is you need to find the best pair on the same sports book. So above here, we have the Eagles. We have minus 320, minus 325, and so on. The best one here is minus 305 on Caesars. And down here for the Commanders games, we have minus 300 and minus 298. The best one over here is on Bet 365. We cannot pair these two together. They're on different sports books. So the best one overall is right here at Caesars, minus 305 for the Eagles and minus 285 for the Commanders. And those are the numbers that I use in this video. Now these lines might change. In fact, all of these lines might change If you follow that simple formula, if you get minus 300, that's 300 over 400, that's 75%. That's getting really close to our actual trend odds. So you don't want to go much over negative 300. You want to try to keep it under 300 if you can, or at least pair that up with another game where the money line odds are much below negative 300. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see my week 1 best bets video, that'll come out on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2 days before the opening Thursday night game between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I'm really looking forward to these Moneyline Parlay bets this year, and I'm really hoping they hit at a rate as high as last year in 2024. I mentioned earlier on in the video that I'm putting this out there for anyone to see. So maybe this is not a good idea. Maybe the sportsbooks get wise to this and adjust their lines to compensate so they don't lose money. But the reason I'm putting this out there is I've already talked about these trends all of last year. So the information is already out there. Let's see if we can hit these bets in 2025. See you in week 1.